So I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked him straight in the eye, and I said, Mr. Higbee, I came in here as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I am leaving as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. My name is Anthony Gallina, and everybody calls me Tony. I am 99 years old. If I live to be till July 4th, I'll be 100. So I'm in the truth 79 years, but I started publishing in 1941, so it would be really 80 years that I've been in the truth. My parents got the truth first. My dad was, he attended the Washington, D.C. convention, and that's when he decided that he wanted to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses from that convention. And then my mother also followed suit, and she, a fighter for the truth. She loved reading the Bible. She read the Bible every day. And because of my mom, I think it was mostly because of my mother that my brother and I really followed suit. The turning point was when the brother Earl Thomas came to visit us, and it was at the time when I got a letter from the government that I was to be inducted to the Army. He said to me, he got down on his one knee, and I'll never forget this. He says, Tony, all you have to ask yourself is, what do you want? Do you want to live or do you want to die? If you want to live, you've got to serve Jehovah. Otherwise, you may die and never have Jehovah's blessings. Or what do you want? Well, I love life, so I wanted to live. So I decided that I was not going to go to the Army. I appeared before the district attorney, and the district attorney asked me the questions of why I wouldn't go into the Army. And of course, I told him that I wanted to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. You have a choice. He says there's only two things. You either join the Army or the Navy, or you go to prison. And that was it. So I spent 2 weeks in quarantine, and then I was called before a hearing officer. His name was Higbee, Mr. Higbee. He was very polite. He says, come in and sit down. He says he wants to talk to me. And he said, now, Anthony, all you'd have to do is sign the papers here, and you're free to go to either Army or the Navy. So I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked him straight in the eye, and I said, Mr. Higbee, I came in here as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I am leaving as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Wow, did he got all red like a tomato. And he, get him out of here. So he changed his attitude 180 degrees. But I felt good about it. I really felt good about it. I was released in '46, and I went to the convention, attended the Grand Nations Convention in Cleveland, Ohio in 1946, and that's where I met my wife-to-be. She was coming up the corridor, and I spotted this girl, and I went over it was a spitting image of her brother, and I knew because I was in prison with two of her brothers. And I remember she had a polka dot dress on. She had a ring of pearls around her. She had white shoes, strapped shoes. She was the kind of picture that I fell in love with, just like that, yeah. Dated for 10 months and then we got married. Yes, he sure blessed me because she was a pearl of great price. She took away a lot of fears away from me, took a lot of, I can't just imagine what she was, I don't know what to say. Well, I give my wife all the credit, really. If she'd have been a complainer, I could have never did what I did, really. And I'm not boasting, but it's the truth. I would have never been able to do it. But she was very cooperative, and she was the type of woman that never complained. And so that was a big plus for me, you know. And so as long as what I did was for Jehovah, she had no objections to it. And 6 years later, we had a daughter. And 6 years later than that, we had a son. I have a daughter that never complained. She was just like her mother. And Philip, of course, both of them turned out to be a credit to his daddy, to their daddy. Yeah, real credit. I got very serious about the truth, and after my wife was a big help to that. And before I knew it, I had responsibilities in the Emmaus congregation. I gave my first talk, and I was really nervous. I was so nervous, I almost fell through the floor. The society, branch wanted me to be the presiding overseer for the Allentown West congregation, and we met in a little civic theater, and I was asked to take charge of a remodeling. So we remodeled the kingdom, that theater. You know, we had to redo the seats, we had to redo the floors, we put block tile all throughout the floors, we really dressed it up, and we had to put a whole new entrance in because it was all solid doors of the entrance, so we had to tear that all out and put a glass frame entrance in there. Whenever a privilege was given to me, I said yes, I would do it, you know. And sometimes it was overloading, but at the end, it always turned out to be the right thing I did, and the joy that I experienced a lot of joy from it. The greatest joy that I had was to see the people come into the truth that my wife and I studied with. That was the greatest joy. You can't put a price tag on that. It was just overwhelming. We work on a farm, but if he decides that that's not for me, well then I'll do whatever Jehovah wishes, but that's my wish. To make my own wine and feel tipsy once in a while. Oh, I would love that. I love to work in the soil, you know, and to see things grow. I just love that. I'd love to work on the construction. I did a lot of it in my time. When I'm in bed, I think about the new world, and I think about what tests we may have to. I think of the hailstone messages. That's going to be a time of testing for all of us. Well, I don't know, but if there's door-to-door work to be done, I want to be part of it. Yep. Yeah, I have my bag ready to go.